I was thinking about something earlier, like the games that we've drawn or lost this season might be kind of obvious, but we haven't deserved to win those games. And like sometimes you have like games that you draw and you're like, oh wow, we played better, we should have won and everything, but all those games we haven't deserved to win. Okay, maybe the Tottenham game, should have been out of sight, but we went up, and then Ali made a mistake. Like, it's ridiculous. The Brighton game, we went up, wasted chances. Brighton came back in. Brighton played better in the second half. West Ham started playing better in the second half, and then they took over the game basically. Leicester, okay, maybe something I also noticed is like a lot of those games is like poor midfield performances. Leicester was like a poor forward performance, but just the midfield and defense could have done a lot better on the goal. It's ridiculous. Man City, the one game I saw them get outplayed this season was against Arsenal. And Man City won that game. So it's ridiculous. Like, hopefully we gotta refocus. We gotta try to get something out this season. Don't never give up on the title, but you gotta see how everything goes. Shout out Kopish.
Just want to say big up Kopish every time for letting me and other viewers have us in your show. Happy New Year in advance. Hope you man are well and blessed, and I hope this new year brings you joy, happiness and blessings. So yeah, Happy New Year to you lot. And yeah, my thoughts on the game. Well, what start? Final score, Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. What I thought of the game. Now, this is where you have to take everything into context now. In terms of, this was a three-horse race, but you've seen how the points and how the games have gone. I think City, have a 10, 11 point gap on us now. And after the performance they had yesterday, where they did not play well, and Arsenal were better than them, and they still managed to get 3 points, today was a must-win. Was a must-win game, especially the last 3 results we've definitely had in terms of how the game has gone down and how we dropped points. Today was a must-win for me, and I think we started off, I would say, well, to a point where we took our chances well, but in terms of how we played as a team, yeah, I think we definitely got outplayed for that 90 minutes for me. Definitely. And I think Liverpool 2-0 up, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so we haven't actually played well in that first half, because I think Chelsea definitely were the better team, but we took our chances well and we were 2-0 up. And I'm thinking in my head, if we could just manage the game well, we would definitely try and get more goals in the second half of it. And I think the 2 goals that we conceded were fixable, and I just think we threw the game away from me. And I think in that second half we were poor. And I think the midfield was an issue for me because we offered nothing in midfield. I think Fabinho, Milner and Henderson, they got batted up for me by Conte and Kopish. I think them two as a pair outrun us in midfield. They outburst us. They were better on the ball, and I just think in midfield they had more to offer in the tank, which is why it looked so confused how we were under the cosh a lot, because we're not normally like that. We normally give it to them. We normally are in the opposition. To be fair, even though that the midfield wasn't the normal midfield, we normally have more possession in most of our games. And I think against Chelsea going into this game, I was expecting us to actually control the game and Chelsea to play on a counter, but Chelsea outpressed us for me in that whole 90 minutes. And I just think the midfield really struggled. Like, no one in that midfield didn't have the urgency to control the midfield and to slow their game down when needed to. And I just think, again, I know we've stressed this enough. Thiago was a miss. We had no control in that midfield, and we had nothing to offer offensively in that midfield for me. And I think that just goes to the squad and the lack of signings that we did miss. So, yeah, it's a poor performance for me. And the fact that we were 2-0 up, you bite your hand off and say 2-0 up in the first half, just manage the game well and pick Chelsea up, because we did have chances in the game as well. That was the maddest thing. Although we were bad for 90 minutes, and the midfield did get overrun, that allowed the defense to constantly have to deal with pressure throughout the 90 minutes. We did have some chances as well. So I just think going 2-0 up in that game and not taking our chances and not having game management in the game for me, I think we definitely threw the game for me. And I think this point feels like a defeat. And again, you take everything into context. I think drawing against Chelsea, against your rivals, isn't really a bad point. It's not. As long as you win your other games for me. And I just think you look at the three results we've had. Leicester 1-0, Tottenham 2-2, Chelsea 2-2. Now, Tottenham and Leicester, for me, we should have won those games. So I think really and truly, we should have 7 points in the tank. And we should only be 4 points behind Man City with that game in hand. And the game in hand, we should win, which is 1 point. So really and truly, we should have a game in hand looking to close the gap to 1 point for me. And I just think in the last 3 results, we've messed it up for me, because I think that Leicester and Spurs game we should have won. The Chelsea game, I'll kind of allow it because you're drawing against your rivals, you didn't lose. But in the context of how City are going, the way they're on the matting, 11 wins in a row, they're not dropping points. Yesterday, the luck they got yesterday, I think today is a bad result for me, and it's hard to see how we kind of catch Man City now. So I think today was it wasn't a good performance, and the fact that we were 2-0 up and we bottled it doesn't really help either. So 2-2, not a great start to the new year, but let's just see if we can pick it up.
Hey guys, first off, I would like to say that Matt, Callum, and Drifty, they have given us this amazing platform. They give us so much content. They sacrifice so much of their, own times. Like, they've got a family, they've got jobs, but they still, do so much for us. And we as fans, we have a platform where we can interact with each other, we can share our thoughts, give our opinions. The only one thing that the guys ask from us is to be respectful, to not go over the top. And yeah, we can challenge them, but we got to do it in the right manner. We don't have to disrespect any of these guys. So let's keep that the way they want us to. I don't think it's that hard. Now, moving on to the game. This game summed up our Premier League season so far, right? We have moments of brilliance. We capitalize on other teams' weaknesses. But then we have lack of judgment, lack of, concentration. We make individual mistakes. We can't do much about the Kovacic goal because that could be, one of the contenders for the goal of the season. But with the second Pulisic goal, we could have done better. Henderson could have tried and closed him down. Van Dijk could have tried to make a better judgment, even though he already had a player that he was marking. But yeah, that's how these guys came back. Within 5 minutes, they scored their 2 goals from between the 40th to the 46th minute. Yeah, that's just not good enough, is it? Now, ever since the summer transfer window closed, and we did not get any replacements for guys like Genie and Shaqiri, I don't know what we should be expecting, like how the season would go, for us, because yes, we have like makeshift Taki in mid sometimes. We have our youth academy player Tyler Morton come in sometimes, and then the rest, they just pick up injuries, right? We know that Fabinho, Keita, Ox, Henderson, Thiago, they don't stay fit quite a lot. They don't have that durability that Genie Wijnaldum had. Also, Harvey Elliott. Sorry, I forgot about him. He's been out for so long due to the bad tackle. But yeah, we needed proper signings, guys. At least 3 signings, I would say. 2 for the midfield and 1 up top to challenge the likes of Mane and Salah. We did not need any glamorous signings. It could have been as simple as how it was like Simicast signing or the Taki signing. Maybe 1 Jota signing and the rest could be the way Simicast and Taki. We got nothing. So yeah, look, let's just hand it off to City, Manchester City, and Pep Guardiola. You guys are unstoppable. You guys are doing a madness. You have been doing a madness for a few seasons now. So, kudos to you. We just can't. We're just not good enough, to go season in, season out, especially with the way our entire structure is. If we had to take a ratio of like, how what portion of blame needs to be gone to the different aspects of our club. 70% needs to go to FSG. They did not have the right investments, where they clearly saw last season how we collapsed, and what did they do? They got Konate just to shut us up. Okay, now we have defense. So now what? Now we're just going to wait for our midfield to step up. So yeah, that is what's happening now. Our midfield is no good, FSG. So yeah, 70% blame goes to you. 20% to our management team. I feel there are times where, you all know that there have been games where we should have ended up winning the game. We had a healthy lead. We gave up the lead, even though we had a good squad bench and all of that, and still we could not make any difference. Think about the Chelsea game. They were, the previous Chelsea game, the one at Anfield, they were 10 men down. What did we do? We had an entire half, and we couldn't break them down. The Brighton game at Anfield again, we were two goals. We scored two, and then we allowed Brighton to get back in. If you consider those things, then this Chelsea result at Stamford Bridge should not be a shock to anyone. So if 20% blame goes to the management team, then the 10% blame has to be the players. We have a squad which has been together through thick and thin almost for like 4 seasons going, right? 3 to 4 seasons. And we have so many captains within our team. So when our captains make such mistakes, or our senior players make such mistakes, what can be done? They need to look. There are times there's not going to be Klopp on the sideline. There are times maybe Klopp might get something wrong, but you, as a player on the pitch, should know better what needs to be done, how to handle situations. You can't just rely on Klopp and the management and the system. At times, you guys need to step in and make the changes, or see where things are faltering and try to improvise. So yeah, like, congrats to City again. Us, we are in the Champions League still. We know we can go all the way. Let's focus on that. Let's focus on the Carabao Cup as well. We are in the semis already. We can have a good run in it. We can win it if we do manage the games better. And then we have FA Cup coming later. We should give that a crack as well. And regarding to the Premier League, let's just be in the top 4. Let's challenge Chelsea now. We need to secure the second place. There is no way City is falling from where they are, unless they cause their own downfall. But let's at least focus on being in second, steady that way, and then let's focus on the other competitions now, guys. It is what it is. We move.
Yes, people, it is your boy Klopp Talk TV on the Viewers Review Show at Team Kopish. Thank you guys for letting me on. Happy New Year to all. And it's not the brilliant start to the year that we all could have had. Liverpool, Chelsea, 2-2. And in any other situation, getting a point against the European champions away from home is a decent result. It's a result that you can take, and you come back with confidence going into the new year. However, considering the circumstances around the form of Manchester City, it just dampens the result really, and it's not a great one considering the fact we were 2-0 up and we conceded 2 goals, which I felt like were reversible in some way, shape or form, regardless of how good the goals were in terms of quality. Look, the first goal, I'll go through it. I think Liverpool, we scored that first goal. It was a lovely take and finish by Sadio Mane. Obviously, doubts over whether he should have got sent off. For me, I think he's very lucky not to get sent off. However, I've seen those given and I've seen them not given. So I can see it from both sides, and I don't really want to sit on the fence. However, if I was refereeing that game at that moment in time, I probably would have sent Sadio Mane off. I think if that's any other player, if that was a Man United player, I'd send him off. So it clearly indicates that it was an offence worthy of a red card. So look, I would have sent him off, but obviously VAR's let a few slide there, and obviously it's gone harsh on us before. So honours even, really, in my eyes. But anyway, he does well to score the goal after unfair criticism, in my opinion, over recent weeks. And yeah, he does well there to score. But Mo Salah, I think, is world class. We keep saying this week in, week out. There's very few superlatives that we haven't already said about Mo Salah in terms of his quality. It was a lovely take and finish in terms of taking the ball down, beating Alonso, and just slotting it past Mendy off his near post. I mean, it's very difficult to do that, especially as a left footer, and to do that obviously against one of the best keepers in the world in Edu Mendy. That's a very good achievement, and to get a goal of that magnitude to put us 2 up, you know, we thought we were sailing through to the 3 points. But Chelsea turned it round. That Kopish goal was a lovely, lovely goal. Take nothing away from Chelsea. They had a super game yesterday. However, there was obviously a few incidents where people were moaning about James Milner, why he shouldn't have been so clumsy in that area, should we say. However, I think that is what you need. That's what you need off James Milner. That's what you expect off James Milner. I think that's general midfielder knowledge to try and take someone out, to stop the cross coming in, and that is why I think he made the challenge in that area. Don't get me wrong, Chelsea are decent from set pieces. They scored the most goals from set pieces, you know, in the Premier League so far, so they're always lethal from set pieces, but to concede off that manner was disappointing. But I don't think fingers should be pointed. I think it was a collective in terms of, it was a brilliant save by Kelleher, and what a performance by him as a goalkeeper. And yeah, it was just poorly defended, really, and you know, we had to pay the price for that. The second goal, obviously, was very difficult when we were playing quite a narrow front three to try and prevent the ball going into that Chelsea midfield, which on the end of the day was the reason they won. The midfield two in Kante and Kovacic were particularly good, and that is why they won the game. And you know, we tried preventing that, which allowed space on the wing backs for Marcos Alonso and Azpilicueta and Chalobah to really interlink. And you know, with the quality that Chelsea have, the ability to switch play so quickly, you cannot give them that opportunity to put the ball over the top, catch Trent out of position, because they were exposing him constantly during that game, and then it forces the whole back four to shift to cover up for Trent, who's out of position, and then you have an overload, and that was the case yesterday. Pulisic put a lovely ball into the top corner, but it was easily preventable. But that's just the quality that Chelsea had in that midfield park. Midfield two, and that's how they won the game. I mean, Kante and Kovacic, they've been world class this season, probably underrated this season. I think they get the respect they've deserved in general, but this season in particular, I don't think they've really had that much of a look in. Maybe Kovacic has been given a look in, but Kante definitely hasn't been given credit worthy of, you know, your other central defensive midfielders. And I felt a lot of our players looked like they were running on empty a little bit yesterday, which is obviously a sign of, you know, we're being tested in terms of our depth, and I think that's what's showing in terms of the complacency. However, you can say the same for Chelsea, and look at the bags of depth they have. So, look, I think it's not the fact we haven't played brilliantly during this past 3-4 months. I think it's purely based on the fact Man City are on another level, and you just cannot afford to drop points to a team which has the financial powers, that has the depth. They're just a super team. They're just a super team with a super manager, and unfortunately, when you culminate both those factors, you're getting a very good team that attacks, gets a lot of goals, but also defensively returns you know, clean sheets constantly. So look, it's getting from our part. We go again. I still think this season's not done. Obviously, still January the 3rd as time of recording, so I still think we'll win the Champions League. I said it on here, boys. I'm bringing the energy, ladies and gentlemen, and I think we'll win a Carabao Cup. Cheeky little Carabao Cup on the side. But it's your boy Klopp Talk TV. Make sure you go and check my channel out. But it's a pleasure doing this review, and see you all soon. Take care. Peace.
How's it going, Kopish? So, Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2, and it's more drop points, and we are really losing touch of whatever kind of race we were in. You know, I think just 2-2, first of all, away to Chelsea, like, it's never a bad result, but you're 2-0 up, and there's 5 minutes to go till half-time, and you concede 2 goals to make it level at half-time. It's really unacceptable, to be honest, and you'd expect more from a team of our calibre. I mean, performance level, we look really tired. We look really leggy. We didn't keep the ball very well. We didn't look very smooth in transitions. First touches were off. Passing was off. And, like, obviously you've got to give credit to the opposition in this case, which was Chelsea, in terms of, you know, their press was pretty good. Fabinho didn't look comfortable on the ball, nor did our midfield. So you've got to give credit there, but you'd still expect to see some bit more flow to our play, especially because, you know, this is a game where, you know, we needed to win. And, you know, it's not like we played 3 Christmas fixtures. You know, sometimes we do better when we are playing more games in a quick succession. But, you know, we had a decent enough break from Leicester. Like, you'd expect a bit more sharpness to our play. But I didn't really see that, which was very unfortunate. Yeah, so 2-0 up away to Chelsea. I don't really care, whoever it is, 2-0 up, you shouldn't be bottling it. And it is a bottle because there are implications. And, you know, we are further out of touch of this title race. And it's a real shame, to be honest, because I feel we are just as good as Man City when we have a proper first 11. But it comes down to the squad depth. And this is what we were saying at the beginning of the season. Yes, we can start the season very well. When you don't really have injuries, when you have a full squad, all of this stuff. But when it gets to the crunch moments, late December, your squad is going to be stretched. And and we clearly haven't been able to cope with it because we don't have a good enough squad objectively. And Man City, you know, maybe they've not been impacted in terms of the various impacting factors to an extent, but if they were, they would have the squad to be able to cope with these external factors. And it just goes to show the owners have a responsibility at Liverpool to reboot the squad, to deepen the squad, and to improve its quality. And that's what they haven't done for a long time. Since we won the Champions League, they really haven't properly invested, and we're paying a price. It feels like we're wasting the quality years that we could have with such a good spine, with such good players, and with an unbelievable manager and staff. It feels like we're not going to get as much out of it as we should and probably deserve to get. And it's just a real shame. It's a real pity. You know, it's going to be an uphill battle from here. The Carabao Cup is something I really, really hope we win. It's something attainable. It's something reasonable. But what do we have? We have no squad. We have no attack. I mean, the AFCON, the COVID, the injuries to significant players, like, we really have been hit. Now, like, the Leicester game, our first 11 probably should have been good enough to win. That was really that was really annoying, to be honest. The Tottenham game, 2-2 away with a midfield of Keita, Milner and Morton, like, it's not a bad result. I just feel like with a bit more quality in and around our team, you know, a bit more off the bench to replace Salah and Mane when needed, a bit more off the bench to ensure the drop off in midfield isn't so bad. A bit more off the bench maybe to rest up Trent. I mean, I really want to keep faith in Nico, but I don't think Klopp maybe trusts him in the Premier League in a big game just yet, so it's a bit of an issue there. As what you guys were saying in the stream, this whole relying on the bench business is something important. So in terms of individual performances, I didn't think anyone was exceptional. Obviously the midfield were poor. They were good in some elements. You know, I can understand why he started with that midfield, but I don't think we're ever going to see a significant run of games from Keita. And the thing is, he hasn't shown enough times that he can provide a consistent string of good performances. And even though I would have liked to have seen him start, you know, who knows what the result would have been. Salah and Mane obviously did decently, I think, in terms of their overall performance. Obviously, their goals were very, very well taken, so credit to them. Defensively, I think we could have done better for probably Pulisic's goal. Van Dijk could have run across. And, I think we have to be lenient on Van Dijk because he has just had COVID. But even the Leicester game, he made a little mistake and stuff like that. Like, obviously, the mistakes are creeping in. But, again, you've got to be lenient with his injury and COVID and all of this stuff. You don't know how it affects the players. But all I think is it's just a bit of a shame because City are running away with this, and you know, if we had a good enough squad. So yeah, as I was saying, I think it's just a real shame. I think it does come down to games against the so-called lesser sides, against Brighton and against Brentford, I mean, just because it's early on in the season, people seem to like not be as bothered. But then when it comes to being later in the season, people are more bothered by draws. Like, you should be bothered by a draw against Brighton and Brentford when you're 2-0 up. I can't even remember what we were against Brentford. Probably, well, we definitely were in the lead. You should be bothered about drawing and dropping points on games just because they were like the first 10 games of the season or something like that. Because what I see is like, oh yeah, it was an off day from the Reds, we'll come back. Like, in this climate where Manchester City constantly win and we have to get over 90 points, you actually can't be dropping points to these weakened sides, because it means you have to win successively and ensure that you don't drop points to actually teams that, you know, you're not going to find as easy, like Tottenham, like Leicester, like Chelsea. Like, it just literally, it's the same like stuff that's always reverberated every single, almost every week, to be honest. So now we head towards the January period. We obviously, as I said, the Carabao Cup, we don't really have an attack, but regardless, I hope we can maybe bring a good result into the second leg, and hopefully maybe Minamino or Origi are back for the second leg, because I don't know how we're going to do this, to be honest. I don't even want to think about it. I'm still really pretty confident for the Champions League, because from what we've shown in the group stage, we are really like taking this competition very seriously. We are performing expertly well in the Champions League, and I think obviously the Champions League is less of an emphasis on the entire squad because it's over less of a period, so we should, hopefully all being well, have the quality in our squads, you know, in the round 16, hopefully in the quarterfinals, all of this stuff. Salah, Mane, Jota, Firmino, all of them back. Thiago is crucial to our midfield. I really do miss Thiago because he is exceptional midfielder in terms of his ball quality, in terms of his positional awareness, goes in for the tackles as well, very underrated in terms of that element, calms the play down, dictates the tempo, like all of this stuff. Thiago is ridiculous, but he just goes missing all the time with the random injuries, so it's really annoying, to be honest. So I think we missed him. You know what, we have missed him. Last 3 games we've dropped points, so I think we're definitely better with Thiago. And Fabinho's performance tends to get better when Thiago's alongside him, because I don't think Fabinho's been very good recently, but again, he's had COVID, so fuck knows what the hell COVID has done to some of our players. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, probably going on for a bit. But look, I think we all want a trophy out of this season. Obviously, we didn't get anything last season. We want a trophy because we have the squad that is good enough to win at least one trophy. Maybe not successive trophies, but we want to ensure that Klopp leaves with as many trophies as possible, because we feel that that's the right thing, and that's what he deserves, and that's what kind of potentially we want to strive for. So yeah, up the Reds. Big up to you guys at Kopish. Keep it going. Great Christmas content. And yeah, really enjoying the regular content, which is great. So yeah, up the Reds. Come on the boys. Let's win some games. Win a trophy this season. Hopefully Salah and Mane do well at the Africa Cup of Nations as well. So big up to them. And yeah, let's get the performances going. Come on the Reds.